Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel for something completely different to the usual today. A little while ago, I was sent an email from the guys at Action Square, who are the developers behind ANVIL, and asked me, hey, do you want to give our game a try? Now, call me old-fashioned, but I'm always up for a free game key. I figured it'd be fun to try something different, and I gotta say, I was actually pleasantly surprised. A lot of you have probably never heard of ANVIL before, but essentially, it's a top-down shoot-'em-up, which probably reminds me most of Risk of Rain's roguelike style mixed with the setting of Alien Swarm. So if that sounds like your thing, stick around. In this video, I wanted to show you guys a little gameplay and just give you my general thoughts on the game from my first few hours of gameplay. Bear in mind that this was a demo that creators were given early access to, so many of these features may change in the future. I'd also like to mention that whilst the developers were kind enough to hook both me and a friend up with a key to try out some co-op gameplay, this video is not sponsored in any way, and I'm only making this because I genuinely wanted to share my thoughts and help you guys decide if you think it's going to be worth buying. Now, this demo is going to be publicly available from June 12th to June 20th, so if you want to give it a go, I'll leave a link in the description of this video once it goes live. Lastly, if you find this video useful, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel for more reviews, guides, and gameplay. So, the characters in ANVIL are known as breakers. I won't dwell too much on the lore here, but essentially each of these characters represent a famous warrior that died in battle and was replicated as one of these breakers. Each of the breakers have their own abilities, unique weapons, and specialities. There's a total of 11 breakers currently available to play in the demo, but I would hazard a guess that they'll add more breakers in the future with this sort of game. Either way, 11 is a pretty substantial number to be starting with, and what's better than this for many is that it took me all of about 3 games before I could unlock my first additional breaker, and you start with 3, so it wasn't this huge grind that took me ages to get to or something I had to buy in order to fast track. And I think this could actually be extended. The process needs to be longer, but I'll touch more on that later. There are breakers of all types, including long-range characters focusing on superior firepower, close-range melee characters with high amounts of defensive skills, and just about everything in between. For example, Jungle is pretty much your average soldier character with a standard issue rifle, explosive mines, and the ability to drop satellite missiles on the target at a moment's notice, whereas Guillotine, on the other hand, is a two-handed axe-wielding machine with the abilities to shield charge his opponents and come crashing down onto a target with a leap, regenerating health in the process. I won't say much more than that, as there's quite a few unique characters to try with their own abilities, and I don't want to spoil too much there, but each one is incredibly unique and feels significantly different with each one you play, both in play style and the skills that you have available. During your missions, you'll be able to swap weapons by picking them up on the battlefield, pick up a wide variety of buffs for your character's main skills or stats, and work your way through multiple stages before the end boss fight of each mission commences. With each run, you'll be able to build your character differently based on the drops that you get, and will end up likely focusing on different areas each time, thanks to that random element that you're getting from the drops. The missions aren't without their difficulty either. Whilst it's fairly easy to get through the main stages of each mission, the boss fights are definitely challenging with their own mechanics and are completely randomized, so you'll end up with a new challenge each time, at least for the first few runs. There's a few unique setups for the regular missions too, like wave defense missions that will spice things up from the regular level clearing that you'll get used to. The combat feels pretty responsive, there's no delays in your movement or abilities, which is always a nice experience when playing games like these, but I will say that at times the movement looked a little off in the way that the characters were animated. When you change direction, for example, there's no real animation and your character just instantly spins on the spot and continues in the new direction you've set for them. Maybe that's just me being picky and something that might be standard amongst games like this, but it's something that I noticed pretty quickly and I wasn't able to stop noticing throughout. Next, let's talk about the progression and skills aspect of the game. There's a single skill tree that isn't too dissimilar from other games out there of its nature, and you can see that on screen now. But I do feel like the game could benefit from having a skill tree for each character that is specified to each one. This would add a significant amount of progression to the game and allow you to build differently for different characters, making it longer lasting for players that need something to keep them busy for longer periods. In fact, this was my only significant complaint with the game itself, like I mentioned earlier. It felt way too easy to actually unlock new characters characters and upgrade them. And whilst I don't want it to become this excruciating experience just to try to get something new, it also needs to feel like an achievement when you unlocked a new character, right? And that's a delicate balance that I just don't think they've got quite right just yet. Oh, and one last thing worth mentioning. There's a handful of companions that will join you and provide special buffs for you, available for a significant amount of currency. Now, these are definitely a lot harder to unlock than the characters. In fact, they were worth 10 times the amount of currency that it took to unlock a new character. But they're pretty cool, and they're a nice little feature that adds bragging rights. You know, once you have one, you can say, hey, look at this is really cool. So yeah, I definitely like that aspect of the game. Anyway, overall, I'd say ANVIL is pretty good for the gameplay I was able to try, and I look forward to giving it some more time when it comes out in the future. I hope this video was useful for you, and once again, if it was, do consider dropping a like and subscribing to the channel. That's all from me in this one, guys. Thanks you very much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.